When will this electrical storm end? This is just swell. Various electrical systems are malfunctioning, the teleporter is firing off at random intervals, which has now picked up some equine life form, which I now have to find. What a day for an exposition dump. Hey Judge, you find anything?
Not yet, Mr. Code.
Alright, well, be careful.
Righto.
Ah! Stupid thing, quit doing that!
Perhaps Commodester's readings were off about there being some equine life form around here. There doesn't seem to be any. Mr. Code, there you are. I couldn't find any ponies, so.
Who are you? Where am I?
Wait, you look like.
Hey, Judge, I'm on the way. I heard the screaming and.
My head. What happened? Mr. Code, are you okay?
I've been better.
Okay, the lights are back on. Awesome. I kinda hated wallowing around in this dingy whatever this is.
Doppelganger!
I'm not a doppelganger.
Save it for Queen Doppelpopulus. You look just like me, except different fur color. What?
I know, me too. But it's not such a big deal.
Not a big deal. I'm slightly grayer now. You may as well put me in clown shoes. And though I could easily put the blame on the malfunctioning teleporter along with this electrical storm, it's easier to say it was his fault.
Hey, I'm the one who got dragged here, you jerk.
Perhaps we should calm down.
We don't need calm. We need senseless, unnecessary violence. Looking at you, all I see is the equivalent of a near-identical evil twin.
I say you're the evil one.
No, you are.
No, you are.
Doppelganger.
Poopy head.
That's it. Oh!
Take this.
I'll get you.
Ha-ha!
Whoa.
Oh my.
Oh, Twilight, teach me about friendship.
Enough! I'm going to knock some sense into you both.
Ow. I think I just got my soul gavelled.
I think I just got mine gavelled out of me.
Now, are you two going to be civil?
Yes.
Good. I'll see you in the courtroom.
So, review?
Season 8 opener?
Sounds good. Let's... Look at this stupid disco ball.
I'll, see you in the courtroom?
You do that. Twilight opens a school of friendship. Once again, the hiatus is over and Season 8 graces us with its presence. You know, every couple of seasons there's been some new innovation or plot device to keep the series fresh. We started off with the Elements, Twilicorn, Tree of Harmony, Cutie Map, and now Friendship School, which if this is going to be a common aspect of this season, does boast tons of possibilities, bringing new creatures, interesting designs, but more importantly, a collection of new personalities for the main six to work off of. And this event is actually the next big milestone for Twilight, following her path now, going from Bookworm to Alicorn, Princess of Friendship, her own pupil, and now her own institution. Now don't get me wrong, while the Castle Winter title acted as a beacon for them to travel across the land searching far and wide for friendship problems, which did help out a lot of ponies, it never really felt different from the usual status quo of the girls' adventures, the princess title feeling more like a label. Here now, following in the footsteps of Celestia, begins a much grander mentorship role, again taking ponies and creatures in from all walks of life, across Equestria, spreading new ideas of friendship and passing off that knowledge to reach the masses, her teachings influencing others. So we got a great start for developing Twilight's character, and I haven't even begun the episode actual yet, so let's do this.
Hold it! Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to address the segue from the movie tie-in. It's a nice thing to see them actually acknowledge the other kingdoms and locations, and the Cutie Map expanding to show this and talk about the other creatures in Equestria shows that they want to explore more of the world as it grows. Though with all of this being done, I still feel a bit jaded to see that a bunch of this has happened off camera as exposition. They could have done something more visual than just showing a few locations on the map, and then saying that Tempest was spreading the word of the Storm King's defeat. And this just makes me think that the show's writers were looking to get people to go pay to see the movie just to get the tie-in.
I agree, that was a nice little nod to the MLP movie. Anyway, after that, we have Twilight asking advice on school from Celestia. And this is an interesting scene for 2 reasons. 1, a dorkable Twilight is always awesome. And 2, we established some interesting commentary here. Celestia introduces the EEA, the pony board that oversees schooling in Equestria.
The EEA ensures that whether it's unicorns studying magic, Pegasi learning weather, or Earth ponies researching agriculture, all schools are held to the same high standard.
This sets up just how mundane their own teaching methods are. Listen to the EEA's raison d'etre. Unicorns, magic, Pegasi, weather, Earth, agriculture. Stereotyping jobs to the type of pony that they are. Why not unicorns studying agriculture? Or Earth ponies studying weather? Instead of creative new mentorship ideas, it's all about keeping the status quo. Interesting commentary on modern schooling of today. Schools typically teach usual math, science, and whatnot, but not many practical life applicable things until later in high school or college. And this is actually made much more apparent in the next scene, meeting with the EEA that is apparently run by Dr. Strange.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Chancellor Daze. The guy's name basically says no to all suggestions, compounded by the fact that he's a xenophobic prick. Again, proving the society is just trapped in their old ways. I don't know, what's your opinion on them?
I can say that the EEA seems to be an older organization. If you were to look at all of the ponies in the room, a lot of them are older and seem to stem with the same idea of preserving their own way of life for ponies. And until more recently, the ponies of Equestria had only done things in a certain way. The EEA may have been something that's been long-standing, starting probably closer to when the 3 tribes were coming together. They maintained what they knew because, well, that's what they knew since they started. And for this, they were even recognized by Celestia for the things that they've established. I don't think that the idea of the organization existing is a bad thing. It probably was there to keep ponies safe and to help preserve their way of life. But their standards of living were thrown out of whack when other cultures and creatures were added into the mix. They saw this as an invading force to defend against. Yet Twilight and the others saw friendship as being something for all creatures. These differing mindsets lead to the conflict of the episode for sure, but I don't know if it makes either side wrong for what they believe in. Of course, Chancellor Daze's personal views took this to an extreme, and at one point makes him come across as pretty racist and xenophobic.
The first day of friendship school begins.
Hold it! And I need you all to do this by the book.
By book.
Something minor, but I do like how Twilight didn't force her friends to join, letting them choose of their own free will. Although, I do question if the girls are all here, what about their home life? Sweet Apple Lakers, the Wonderbolts, Fluttershy Sanctuary. Just a thought.
They do bring this up in the episode somewhat. The EEA had a concern for the main 6 running off to deal with the other threats in Equestria instead of teaching class. And this is only part of their lives. I mean, Rarity has several businesses. Fluttershy has an animal sanctuary, and Pinkie Pie already runs part of Sugar Cube Corner when the cakes aren't there. I mean, yes, obviously others can handle things while they're gone, but this kind of begs the question as to what other things they drop in the middle of an adventure. And just how long are the days at this school? How many days a week are they running it for? And if the students are living on the grounds, who's taking care of them? And why is Starlight a guidance counselor but the rest of them are teachers? I just have so many questions on how this is supposed to work.
Well, I guess just to give Starlight something to do. Anyway, let's talk about the new kids on the block. Sambar, the Earth Pony, Smolder the Dragon, Yana Yak, Hippogriff, Silverstring, Gallus Griffin, and Ocelus Changeling. It can be difficult when the show tries to introduce a new character and have them likable, let alone 6 new ones. But honestly, all these kids are great. Not only are they unique from a species and design standpoint, but all of them have diverse personalities. True, they're somewhat similar to the main 6, but they don't feel like 100% carbon copies. They feel like different, unique individuals.
I think they put just enough effort into them to make them more complex than the ponies in the background. Yes, they are coming up with different cultures. This gives them a good flair, but the Yak is still clumsy and bumping into things. The Griffin is still trying to play it cool. The Shy Changeling is somewhat of a reflection of Thorax. Then you have the other Ember, which is just a competitive dragon, and our resident Hippogriff, which is a giggly Pinkie Pie that doesn't seem to know what anything is. I get that these characters were given identifiable traits so that you knew where they came from. This doesn't make them bad characters, but it does somewhat make them a stereotype. At their best, they meet the requirements to make this episode work. Though I will give them one thing as a group. They're more diverse because not only is it made up of different creatures, not all of them are girls.
Hold it! And to top it off, their portrayal as young kids / teenagers was spot on. They're weird, getting into trouble, arguing, and teasing each other. They all feel like realistic kids, and we grow to like them as over the course of the episode, they do actually take the girls' lessons to heart, going from disliking and fearing each other to genuinely hanging out with one another.
Now it's time to talk about the song. Ugh. The song is chirpy and it talks about the school, and it helps show a passage of time and sort of montage the experience of both the teachers and the students. moments. But by the end of it, I guess you could say I started to feel like the ones who were singing it, annoyed that it had to happen that way, and feeling like you wanted something more exciting or something different. It sounds nice, and it isn't composed poorly, but it feels shoehorned in just to have the song there to avoid dialogue. It also just seems to be there so that they can sing about it again by the end of the second part.
Yeah, the first song of the season, and it's a middle-of-the-road song. The music has a nice school spirit anthem about it, making it kind of catchy, but other than that, it's not the most memorable song. Lyrics feel kind of unnatural at times, with weird pauses to match the flow. Though it's here where we start to really get into the conflict and the next lesson for Twilight. Everything's hunky-dory until Twilight asserts herself and the EEA's guidelines in their face. Yet this is totally in character for Twilight. Authoritative figures have dictated Twilight's way of methodical thinking since Celestia, so it makes sense for her to follow this teaching style that she's received as well.
I think it was funny that Spike brought up how this was out of character for her. Spike had some decent insight into how confident Twilight could be throughout the episode, bringing up her ability to present to the EEA and how organized she is, and how she can teach the classes. Spike was very supportive, and helped voice that to Twilight when she needed it. Though you could also argue that this gave Twilight tunnel vision as to how well the school was running by the end of the first episode. By the second episode, he was back to being supportive while trying to pull Twilight out of her pillow fort funk. I think the writers did well to give Spike attention this episode, at least to show his potential. Heck, he's even shown protecting the students by the end.
Exactly. Even though Spike wasn't in it for long, he still leaves an impact. Throughout the series, he's always best acting as Twilight's assistant, and here he confronts her dead on, and it's awesome. He knows she can do better. I just love it when he's the most logical thinker in the room.
Hold it! While they leave to spend time with one another outside of class and avoid boredom, this also leads to the problems that Neisei had, which treats them poorly. Up to that point, apparently Neisei only saw the students that were ponies. The non-pony students, they took the day off. They managed to put themselves in a situation that scares off all of the others and leads to families and friends almost being hurt. And to a xenophobic chancellor who wants to defend ponykind from threats from other beings, well, this leads to some harsh words, even with Twilight trying to speak up for herself and her students.
We see the kids ditching class and sharing a nice bonding moment outside where before we've seen their weaknesses like Ocelus's shyness, now using her intelligence and wit to fool Fluttershy, or working around Yana's clumsiness. We again see that they've taken these elements' lessons to heart, helping each other, showing the impact of those initial lessons.
These problems turned around before we know.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
As we watch Friendship Day go all to hell, the xenophobic chancellor, while still his bigoted self, does say some damning yet true words. Twilight was irresponsible with the whole school. She was ignorant to her friends' pleas, and had she listened, things would have gone much better. Thus we begin Twilight's road to recovery. Sort of.
Why don't we talk about the part where Starlight gives out some good advice? The others were well-meaning, but Twilight really needed some perspective. Enough so that she could get past her "it has to be done by the book" phase. We could all see the mental tics that she had because of that eye twitch. Even Spike pointed that out. Unlike the others, instead of telling her things that she would want to hear, she gave her some tough love, as she put it, which I do think is a good way to demonstrate her acquired experience and knowledge on how to deal with failure. Unlike the other main six, she has this experience because, well, she's the reformed character of the group. This adds a nice touch and shows that she can contribute. She helps to toss aside the rules that were causing the problem both mentally and physically, and it's believable to see that Starlight and Twilight can write a new rule set for something new.
Starlight Glimmer was simply awesome in this episode. She doesn't dance around the issue. She lets Twilight have it with all her mistakes, not holding back at all, reminding her that she needs to fight for her ideals. This is not only hilarious, but shows how much Starlight is developing as a pupil, going from cultist zealot to pupil, now seeing the errors of the master, the princess of friendship.
When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master.
I even liked how brutally honest the rest of the girls were expressing their dislike of the school. Every time the show takes such a mature route, it always inspires me.
And then we move on to finding out that the students are missing, which, while Twilight was happy that they learned friendship, was probably not the thing she was aiming to cause an international incident over. Also, was it just me, or did they hit Ember with a stupid stick for the sake of a plot point? I mean, I get they wanted to give the episode a sense of urgency, and yes, they should be concerned over the fact that the students were missing and fought over that, but what happened between Ember and Thorax?
I have mixed feelings about this scene. Everyone angry and yelling. I can understand the frustration seeing as their student ambassadors are missing, but I do have a problem with one part. I think Ember being accusatory towards Thorax kinda pushed the believability of the situation. Yeah, it's a heated argument and everyone's on edge, but still, Ember knows how much of a meek changeling Thorax is, as we saw the two interact in triple threat. And even standing within his presence for a minute, any pony can see how introverted he is. Though a minor nitpick, it still bothers me.
They They did bring back the castle of the two sisters, though. With the students staying there, I have to wonder what missed opportunities they could have had with the hidden passages that were there. Also, is it just me, or does the Evergreen Forest keep getting brighter and brighter with each time we go back to it? Like having less trees and much more open space than I remembered. Still, it's nice to see them explore old locations again.
Wow, the Castle of Two Sisters. Haven't seen that in a while. Kind of fell off to the wayside after season 4. So we got these Popquaji creatures that are freaky but cool. And here's where the story could have gone in 2 different directions. As it stands, the main 6 swoop in to save the day, which I'm perfectly fine with, as it was to show the kids how awesome their teachers are, instilling confidence in them once again. However, I feel technically the kids saving the day would have worked as well. Using what friendship lessons they learned, they would be amazed at what they accomplished with just a fraction of the knowledge and then wanting to seek more. But that's me thinking about alternate outcomes. As it stands, it's still a great resolution. I even liked how the girls didn't force them all to return, and instead gave them the respect to make the mature decision to come back on their own. This whole concept of choice is just prevalent throughout the episode, and it just makes the dialogue so engaging.
This said, the school is reopened, and that epic lock spell that the Chancellor had put down, well, is removed pretty easily. I mean, this was a flashy spell, and it was undone with the grace of someone walking up to it with a set of bolt cutters. Though the spell does have the added effect of alerting Neisei. I'm not going to complain about his entrance though. Several times he's come through with this neat portal effect.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Yeah. The only real problem I have here was Celestia just kind of stood by and watched the Chancellor talk down to everyone. I know you want to be diplomatic, lady, but your country was on the brink of war. Step in, your highness, when the nations are on the brink of fighting each other.
And the episode ends with a reprise of the song again, which makes you think that they passed the entire day by, but it ends on the doorstep again for some reason. Ember is also pretty self-aware of pony songs. The episode overall, it was fine. It's a season opener, and at this point you expect it to follow a certain formula. Nothing too spectacular, but it was something enjoyable to watch at least. I'm just hoping that they don't drop the ball and develop some of the new characters that they introduced this season.
School Daze was a solid opener for season 8. Lots of good humor, great character development for Twilight and Starlight, new interesting cast of kids, and a potential villain in the future. Overall, great start to what looks like to be a very interesting season.
Well, glad to see things worked out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, this was interesting to say the least.
Well, my good sir, any place in particular I can send you?
The secret rift will do.
Alright then, adios amigo.
See ya.
Huh, all's well that ends well, I guess.
Yeah, nothing bad happened. At least right now.
Yeah. I hate my life.